I have ranked many things in Kenshi. I have ranked weapons, I have ranked races, I have ranked bosses, I have ranked unique recruits, and today, per your suggestion, we are ranking all the zones that exist in Kenshi. Now, there is a lot of them. We have 69 zones. Nice. So we're gonna have to go through these very fast because there is a lot to rank. So each of these is gonna get a couple of seconds, otherwise the video is gonna be like 5 hours long. Of course, we're ranking how unique these are compared to the whole world, how dangerous they are, how many interesting things there are there to do, and also nostalgia feeling. All that, you know, how cool they are basically. We're going for the coolness factor. So let's begin. First, we have Iraq. Iraq, everybody knows, lots of spiders, home of the Bugmaster, pretty dangerous, decently unique, we'll put it in B tier. Next is Arm of Okran. Nothing really much going over there. There's a bunch of mountains, but you do have World's End, so D tier. Next, we have Ashlands. Very unique place, there's really nothing like it out there else in the world. Of course, also home to Catlon and many of the old lore Skelly boys, so Ashlands go to A tier. Then we have Bast. It's a war zone between Holy Nation and United Cities, and also lots of bandits and cannonballs and all those kinds of things, but otherwise just a place full of ruins and misery. It goes into E. Berserker Country. Unfortunately, while it looks cool, it got nothing else going for it. It's out of the way, there's nothing really there unless you're using mods, and it goes into F tier. Bonefields is the home of boneyard wolves and big things, many big things. It goes into D tier. Then we have Border Zone. Border Zone's got that nostalgia feeling, it's home of the hub, but otherwise doesn't really have too much going for it, so it goes into B. The Burning Forest is a place to go if you really like blood spiders, and let's be real, nobody likes blood spiders. It goes into E. And Cannibal Plains is a place to go if you like cannibals. More people like cannibals probably than they like blood spiders, so this one goes into C. Good thing is far out of the way though. Cheater's Run is next. This is only useful as a sneaky way into the Ashlands, but it's so out of the way that it's not used for anything else. It's, I'm sorry, F tier. Darkfinger, once again, plenty of cannibals, but just worse than Cannibal Plains. It goes into D. Deadlands got that unique thing going on for it. There's almost nothing like it, you know, the darkness, the acid rain. Lots of new players are afraid of it, but it's very unique, very cool, and also the home of the actual cool skeletons. So Deadlands go to A tier. Next we have Dreg. Really, what Dreg offers is an easy way to Mongrel from the west. That's like the easiest path to get in there, the safest path. But let's be real, nothing else, so E tier. Fishman Island, the home of the famous Fishimon. Yes, Fishimon. It's got the cool factor, it's got the Fishmons, plenty of them. It goes into C tier. Flats Lagoon's got that bonus to be one of the last civilized places before you go to the southeastern area, and it's got one of the coolest towns ever, so Flats Lagoon goes into B. Then we have Floodlands. Floodlands is like a bit of a worse version of Deadlands, or less cool version of Deadlands. Lots of ancient ruins, all that stuff. It looks cool, but not as cool as Deadlands, so B tier. And then we have Fog Islands. There's almost nothing like it everywhere or anywhere in Kenshi. You got that unique thing of screams coming from the fog. It's like one of those horror places you could find in Kenshi. Fog Islands, in my opinion, total S tier. Forbidden Isle is one of those that is far out of the way. There's really nothing much happening there besides some acid rain and a bunch of iron spiders. You'll only go there for just one ruin, so E tier, really. And Green Beach is a farmer's paradise, unfortunately quite far out of the way from everything else, so at best a C tier. Grey Desert is a moment of respite, a moment of peace before you either go to the Deadlands or towards Venge, or if you just gone through those two places, you can rest there before going onwards to the Grey Desert, but it can't really go higher than D. Now, Grey Shelf is a place where you will be hunted by gorillas and southern hivers, and maybe you'll go visit a ruin or two. E at best. Gut is a place where we once upon a time had an awesome base. It's home of the big things, and it's a good place to farm flora and fauna, but pretty obnoxious with all the beakers, so C tier. while Hang is the ugly neighbor of the great, beautiful, great desert. So D, also Slaver's Paradise. The Hidden Forest is the one actual existing forest in Kenshi and home to the Flotsam Ninjas. Pretty cool area, it goes into B tier. The High Bone Fields is the ugly cousin of actual bone fields with no towns, I'm sorry, goes into F. And Howler's Maze is just empty with even emptier ruins and especially empty with just crabs there sometimes. I'm sorry, it's big F. Iron Valleys is a cool place, a slightly worse version of Deadlands. It's a maze, unfortunately, but a maze with a bunch of cool ruins where you can get some good loot, so B tier. Leviathan Coast is there if you want to go hunt some Leviathans, as the name suggests. Also a bunch of ancient ruins, quite dangerous ancient ruins, but unfortunately it's way too far away from anything civilized. While it's pretty, at best you can get is D. Northern Coast is a home away from home for those displaced by cannibals and really doesn't have much else going for it, so E. Obedience is a crazy place of old with lots of sightseeing to do, but unfortunately not much else, so at best it can be C. Ocran's Gulf is a place to go if you want to go safely around the Fog Islands, unless of course you are at war with the Holy Nation, which then might not be so safe, but D. More Ocran stuff, we have Ocran's Pride next. This is a great place, a farmer's paradise if you're a human. At best it can be B, but really decent place for farming. And then we have Ocran's Valley, which is Ocran's Pride falling apart and being desertified, so unfortunately not as good anymore unless you want to plant some cactuses, so D. Purple Sands is, in my opinion, one of the coolest looking zones, one of the prettiest zones, with also a very useful ruin, but unfortunately it's way out of the way and there's really nothing much there. It's pretty dead, so C. Raptor Island is a place that you have to swim a lot and far to get to it, so only visit if you're going for Mega Raptor, and that's probably gonna be only one, so F. Rebirth is a place with the infamous Holy Nation prison. You probably all visited it at some point. If that was intentional or you have been forced to go there, well, that's up to you, but it's a cool place, so C. Raw Valley is a place where you too can become a snack for the king. This is the Southern Hive Paradise. Plenty cool place, B. Shem is one of the best places to set up your home. It is completely central, almost completely central to the whole map. It's got plenty of good resources, it's got plenty of ways to farm flora and fauna, and plenty of bandits from all around, especially from the swamp, that's gonna come at you, so you can use them for training. So Shem, in my opinion, is S tier. Shun, you will only visit when you need some books, be it ancient or normal ones, but otherwise you will probably never go down there again. E tier. Zinkan is a home to many factions. You have the bandits over there, you have the hivers over there, you have the cannibal hunters over there, and also, most importantly, you have the Tower of Goats. Pretty cool place, C tier. Skim Sands is a place to go if you want to see Holy Nation and United Cities play with skimmers, or if you want to get eaten by skimmers, or maybe if you want to break somebody from Tengu's vault. Decent place, but nothing too amazing, D tier. Skinner's Realm is a place to go if you want to break out some slaves from the Holy Mines, but really nothing much else there besides some sandstorms, so goes into E. And then Sniper Valley is got this really ominous name, but you will not actually get shot often when you go there. And if you get shot, you will get shot by a weakling skeleton that you can easily destroy. So I'm sorry, you could have been so much better. F tier for Sniper Valley. Sonor's Dark is one of the most dangerous places in Kenshi. You know what, those skin bandits are no joke, unless you want to join them. C tier. South Wetlands is the worst version of the glorious swamp, but it does have less loading time, so that's the bonus, goes into E. Spider Plains, really nothing to see there besides a bunch of spiders and old shack centenarians. that are preparing to die to Bugmaster also goes into E. Spine Canyon is the western barrier to the Great Desert. It's got not too much going for it, but it does have some cool ninjas, so at least we can put it into D. Sten Desert is otherwise pretty empty and bleak, just like the shack that reside there, but they do have a very cool capital, so that boosts it up to C tier. Stobbs Gamble is a big and quite varied area. It's got all kinds of different things and lots of ash in the air. It's got multiple factions vying for control of it. Even there's some tiny remnant of actual happiness down there. It's a very cool and unique place. It goes all the way to A tier. On the other hand, Stobbs Garden feels like the most unoptimized of all the places in Kenshi. But it's cool if you want to go be a slave that also gets combat training. So that goes into E. Stormgap Coast is one of the last civilized places before you go down south to the Ashlands and onwards. So it's got that going for it, but also plenty of big things from Gut. At best, it can be a D tier map. The Black Desert, even though the Black Desert City is named after it, it's not actually in the Black Desert. The Black Desert is just an empty place with lots of moving poisonous clouds. It's utter crap. Goes into F. The Crags is worth a visit if you're going for some of the ancient ruins, but just be careful you don't get lost in many winding paths down there. Goes into D. The Crater is another big thing paradise, and you will see lots of them, but they're also protecting a dangerous but very worthy ruin. So the Crater is pretty cool and unique in that regard. Goes into C. The Eye is one of the coolest places in the whole Kenshi. It's got this really cool permanent sandstorm in the middle. It's really cool and unique. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any like cities or anything like going for it, so at best it can be B. Next we have the Great Desert. This is a place that feels the most like Kenshi. It also has the prettiest sunsets and sunrises. You're not gonna change my mind on that. It really feels like Kenshi. It's a world of opportunity. So many different factions and places in there. So many different things you can do. The Great Desert, in my opinion, is Kenshi and goes straight up to S tier. While the grid is unique and cool, you were really only gonna visit it once for the engineering research from the two ruins and then probably never go down there again unless you're somehow passing through. At best, it can be D tier. The Hook is out of the way part of the United Cities. It is infested by slavers and manhunters, but if you decide to set up a base down there, it can be a really cool place to be, so it goes into C. The Iron Trail is very dangerous and populated by many iron spiders that can be really annoying where you're trying to get to that one important ruin that is out there, because they will hide underwater and they will eat your legs from underwater. So E tier. The Outlands is a place to go for the biggest library in the whole of Kenshi. Just be careful you do not get enslaved by the Reavers. C tier. The Pits is a place where you go for some ancient ruins, some acid rain, but be very careful of the indigenous people because they will not be too happy to see you. D tier. The Pits East is pretty much the same as the Pits. Ruins, some acid rain, but it's cooler because it's got crabs as well. So C tier, or at least a lot more crabs. The Shrieking Forest is a place to go if you want an unending fight with waves and waves and waves of enemies. So for that, D tier. The Swamp, in my opinion, is the zone with the best atmosphere in the whole of Kenshi. Really cool area. I love it. But also at the same time I hate it because of the long ass loading times that you get there no matter how good your PC is. For that, the best I can do is A tier. The Unwanted Zone. There's a lot of animals there that want to eat you. You have crabs, you have big things, you have raptors. No wonder nobody wants it. We don't want it either. F tier. Vane is a place to go for big thing eggs and cheap Hive robotics. It's pretty cool the way it is with the bloody rain. C tier. If you need a tan, Venge is the place to be. You'll get plenty of tan, but just be careful it doesn't burn off your legs or just your whole self. Very unique zone, but unfortunately there's not that much going for it. B tier. Watcher's Rim is the place that encircles Iraq It just reeks of fear of the bounty hunters and mercenaries who fear Bugmaster and do not want to fight him, but they're still there because they want the bounty. Well, unfortunately, it reeks of fear, it goes into F tier. Last but not the least, we have a Went. It's a very unique place, it's a big old canyon, but unfortunately it's very annoying to traverse because you have to swim a lot to get to the place where you want to go, and that place is probably the vendor location, the armor vendor location for the Armor King, where you can get the best armor in the game. Unfortunately, that's really all it has. E tier. And there we go, boys, we have our ranking. Let me know, what do you guys think? Do you agree with my ranking? Who would you put up into the S tier? Which zones would you put up in the S tier? Which zones would you put out in the F tier? And let me know, which zones do you think I have completely misranked? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this. There's plenty more to watch if you like ranking videos. And I'll see you next time.